Today in sushi class, starting with your bamboo sushi roller wrapped in normal plastic wrap just to make it easier to clean. Normal sheet of your seaweed. I'm using the Sea Snacks, not sponsored by them. You need a bowl of water and your sushi rice that you've already prepared and something to put in it, and then eventually your knife cutting board and soy sauce. Eat it. So you start with your nori seaweed here, get your fingers wet, and then you can pick up the rice and it doesn't stick to your fingers. Otherwise, you're going to get really messy. So you start packing your rice on, about 2/3 of it. If your fingers start sticking to the rice, then dip them in the water again. You want to pack your sushi into a nice little mat about 1/3 of an inch thick. You won't find that on your tape measure. And make it nice and even. And everything, the more packed down it is, the easier it is to roll the sushi later. But don't like really squish it or it becomes not rice anymore. I'm using brown rice today. You have to look up the recipe for your how to make it sushi rice, because sushi rice is not just normal rice. It's got a little bit of sugar and a little bit of rice vinegar. I used white wine vinegar as a substitute for the rice vinegar that I didn't have. So yeah, you pack this down till it's about 2/3 the way down. It's always good to have a towel nearby because your fingers are constantly dipped in water. Then it comes to loading your sushi. I've got some red bell peppers, very thinly sliced. You don't want too big of chunks because then it looks like a chunky American meal, not a Japanese meal. And this here is cucumber that I put through a spiralizer so that it's in nice thin pieces as well without having to go through all the effort of cutting a cucumber into tiny, tiny little pieces. So you run your veggies in a nice little line in the middle here. Got the greenish, clearish cucumbers and some red peppers that go well together. Don't want to load it too much or it's harder to roll, but you don't want to load too little because then it doesn't have flavor. So here you've got everything loaded and ready to go. When you're rolling it really tight and then squeezing it into a roll right where the rice ends. And then as you roll it forward, you're pulling the sushi roller out from underneath it so that it's able to keep rolling. And if your sushi doesn't stick together, then you just haven't held it long enough, because as you hold it, the moisture from the sushi helps glue it together. But there you have a sushi roll, and then you can, of course, kind of reshape it into more of a circle, since pinching it down can make it off shape, and there you have it. Now, if you have a really loose roll, then it's going to fall apart. If you have a nice tight roll, then it's less likely to. So move that out of the way. Then you have preferably a very, very sharp knife, especially at the point, because that's what you cut most with. You'll dip the knife in your water and let a bead of water run down the blade, sometimes a couple times. You can shake your knife a little to get it to go down, and then you simply start cutting, very gently, trying not to squish it, and using your fingers to hold the sushi roll together. And a flat cutting board works better than a textured one because you're cutting flat seaweed. So again, have your knife blade wet, helps it get through the seaweed more gently, and less pressure, more back and forth, helps you out. So, once you've got it cut, you can do thinner or thicker slices depending on how big your mouth is. Then you've got your sushi here with the little bits of red pepper, and the cucumber is nice and camouflaged with the rice because the middle isn't green. Then that's your sushi. You want to eat it fresh. You don't want to put it in the fridge, that makes it hard, but you don't want to leave it out, so just eat it. So you get your soy sauce. If I had chopsticks, I'd show you that. Dip it in, and bon appetit, or whatever the Japanese say.